from the mid coach running light, somewhere from that one to the back I had lost power. So climbing underneath, started looking at the harness, and right where the harness runs through a cross member of the frame. So there's the jack, there's the rear axle, and there's a hole right here where all the lines ran through. And you can see it's a large section of that grommet that they used to trim out that edge. It's missing now. I'm not quite sure if that was a result of the fire or what, but an electrical fire is one thing. But what's more scary is this is a toy hauler, so there are fuel lines running here. So this fuel line, here's the part I cut out, it burned right through there. So this could have been a massive, I've already replaced most of the lines. I'm down to the last one right now so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. All the rest of my running lights and everything associated with the electrical that used to be inside this very large harness. Like I said, I can't say why this wore through it, but it ultimately ended up shorting it out. And well, telltale was this. I lost these running lights here. I've got about $100,000 in toys right above this. But in addition to losing the toy hauler, I most likely would have lost the bikes, and not being able to disconnect from the truck fast enough, it probably would have lost the truck too. So I'm going to make provisions to make sure these fuel lines are protected against any particular problem. I'll make sure the wires are protected, and I'm going to make sure that the fuel line is separated and protected. So here's the harness hanging down, and where I've made splices, soldered and shrink wrapped to make sure that I don't solve one problem and create another one. The other step I took in this whole process, fire, but certainly based on its location and the penetration through that cross member, it sure seems to indicate that there was some abrasion. It ran through the electrical connections and kept arcing in that area, and that is what caused the fire. So fuse the running lights are on our 2015 F-250, but I wanted to take extra precaution. So inside the connection box where your harness pigtail wires into the harness for the trailer, the white-green line is your running lights, and the reason I wanted to make sure I put it on there is because the running lights will be on for hours upon hours upon. The crimped wire nut off of there, soldered and shrink wrapped on a inline fuse, and I put a 5 amp fuse in there, and I've been testing it for about 2 hours, and so 5 amps sure seems to be adequate. The truck probably has something closer to a 20 or 25 amp. So for this application, I wanted to isolate the truck from the trailer wiring with a 5 amp inline. I was curious. Plus, if I do have any issues, this is going to be a quick telltale. I'll lose the lights on the trailer there, and I can quickly access it and know that I've got a problem.